Episode 30, Alliance in the Shadows. Who are you? Really? Using the noise of the party as a shield, Rian asked the masked woman in a low voice. His voice was calm, but his mind was in a state of utter turmoil. This woman, who had seen through his perfect performance in an instant, was unlike any opponent he had ever faced. Me, the woman replied, elegantly swirling her champagne glass. I'm simply someone with a keen interest in the truth, especially the truth hidden behind grand lies like yours. She introduced herself as Serafina. She gave no further information, but her refined way of speaking and her natural voice suggested she was of no ordinary standing. What is your objective? My objective might just be the same as yours, Serafina said, looking Ryan straight in the eye. You set this entire stage to lure out Lord Valerius over there, didn't you? To draw out the shadow cult after hearing the rumors. Ryan realized that hiding his identity any longer was pointless. This woman already knew everything. How? I've been watching you since the day you set foot in Ethereum, Serafina said. I saw you lurking in the shadow market, eating with the forger, preparing this entire play. At first, I thought you were just an audacious swindler, but it didn't take me long to realize your true target was the shadow cult. You're hunting the cult too? Yes, she said, her voice turning cold. Because they took something very precious from me. She offered no further details, but the deep sorrow and anger in her eyes spoke of a deep-seated grudge she held against the cult. All right, Serafina, you're right. Ryan finally admitted everything. I came here to destroy the cult. If you're not going to stand in my way, then please stay out of my business. Stay out of your business. On the contrary, Serafina scoffed. You're playing a very dangerous game, Mr. Ryan. Lord Valerius is a far more cunning and cruel man than you can imagine. He may have already seen through your clumsy act. You can never face him alone. Then, what are you proposing? An alliance, she offered. I have information and resources that you lack, and you have the boldness and the inspired cunning that I do not. If we join forces, we might just be able to hunt this monster. Ryan studied her. Her proposal was tempting, but also dangerous. Was she an ally or another enemy? But he had no other choice. As Serafina said, he was alone, and against the monolithic wall that was Lord Valerius, he was prepared to shake hands with the devil himself. Fine, but on two conditions, Ryan said. We don't ask about each other's identities, and we don't interfere with each other's methods. We cooperate only for the goal, and when the job is done, we go our separate ways, cleanly. Those are conditions I can agree to, Serafina said with a smile, extending her hand. Rian took it. It was the moment two shadows joined hands to hunt a greater shadow. Their alliance was not forged in trust, but from a shared goal and a mutual desperate need. But in this dangerous city, that was more than enough. Episode 31, The Dangerous Invitation. The alliance with Serafina proved its worth immediately. She provided Ryan with astonishing information about Lord Valerius. Valerius was no simple nobleman. He had bribed a portion of the city guard and was also secretly in league with several mages from the Ivory Spire. Even the Night Visitors Guild, the largest criminal organization in the shadow market, was under his influence. He had spun a vast web in both the light and the darkness of the city. He will use this exhibition to test you and to confirm if your heart of the sun is genuine, Serafina warned. If your identity is exposed, or if the artifact is revealed to be a fake, you will not leave this manor alive. Don't worry, I have a plan of my own. As the exhibition reached its climax, just as expected, Lord Valerius requested a private meeting with Ryan. He led Ryan to the manor's library. The library was filled with thousands of ancient domes, and portraits of what appeared to be his ancestors hung on the walls. The most impressive treasure, Lord Kairos, Valerius said, locking the door. A sharp blade was hidden behind his smooth voice, but I wish to inspect its true value more closely. Of course, Lord Valerius. Ryan coolly took out a small, pre-prepared box and placed it on the table. Inside was a replica of the Art of the Sun. The real one, which of course was also a fake, had already been moved to a safe place with Serafina's help. Valerius opened the box and picked up the jewel. He examined it meticulously, using several magical lenses. A flicker of disappointment and suspicion crossed his face. The light is intense, but the flow of magic within it feels unnatural, as if it were artificially made. That is because my ancestors' magic has lain dormant for thousands of years. Ryan recited his prepared excuse. A special ritual was required to awaken its true power. A ritual. Valerius put the jewel down and stared at Ryan as if to pierce right through him. I find your story of the Sundara kingdom quite fascinating, but it is strange. In all the histories I know, I have not been able to find any record of such a kingdom. He walked over to a bookshelf, pulled out a thick, dusty tome, and opened it. This is the genealogy of kings, which records all the ancient kingdoms and bloodlines of the empire. But nowhere in this book do the names Kairos or Sundara exist. The moment had come. Ryan swallowed off, but feigned a look of complete composure. In fact, he scoffed at Valerius. It is hardly surprising that my ancestors' names are not recorded in such a book. The Empire has always been an arrogant power, believing only their own history to be the truth. Our kingdom existed long before the Empire was even founded. Do not try to judge us with your narrow-minded view of history. Faced with Ryan's confident demeanor, Valerius was momentarily at a loss for words. Just then, a secret wall in the library opened, and the shadow alchemist, Galen, appeared. In his hand was a small bird cage. Inside the cage was a magical creature known as a truth-telling bird. This creature had a peculiar trait. It ruffled its red feathers whenever it hears a lie. My lord, if you wish to know whether this man speaks the truth, we can simply ask this little one, Galen said with a wicked smile. The situation was escalating to the worst possible scenario. Before a magical creature, Brian's tongue was useless. It was a desperate crisis, with all his lies on the verge of being